We are live. We are live. Okay. Welcome back to Warriors of Light show. This is season 2 of this library. This is a library that I have been building since last year. And today we are doing episode 18. Episode 18. We had a 1-year break, but we're back. I am your host, Mogami, and I'm really excited to just reintroduce this show for those who are joining us for the first time, introduce you the intention and the mission that I have with this show. I'm really excited. I'm excited with what's going to be coming in the next coming weeks, the guests that we're going to have, the conversations that we're going to have in this building of this living library. So I'm so excited to be doing this live with you on Zoom. Everyone who's here, thank you for joining me on your Thursday. It is Thursday, 5 p.m. And we're going to be doing this every Thursday until, let's see, until at least December 16th, actually, for this particular season. And we're going to come back. The intention is to come back again. We're going to be doing transmissions like this, where sometimes it's just going to be me and you. And other times we're going to have guests coming in to break down a lot of concepts that are important to us, particularly as the genetic pathcutters. This show is primarily for you, the genetic pathcutter. This is a term that I shared at the beginning of this year to mean what in Setswana we call bana ba badimo or ngwana badimo. And so this is essentially for you, the person who feels this deep yearning and calling to heal themselves, to heal their bloodline, their ancestry, or just interest in spiritual awakening, interest in metaphysics, in African, ancient traditions and cultures and practices, and obviously what is happening right now, which is this great change that we're going through, this ascension of consciousness that the human race is going through. So this is going to be for you. I am so obsessed and dedicated with creating space for us. So say hello when you join in. Let me know that you're here with me. You're hanging out. I'm really excited to have you here. And engage in the chat if you're joining me here on Zoom, or if you're joining us on YouTube. We are on Zoom, on YouTube, as well as on Anchor, on Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. So please go there, subscribe, like, comment, whatever resonates with you. I would like to know what your thoughts are, essentially. So who is here? Who is here with me? Welcome back to the tribe, Sovereign Warriors. I missed you all. I took a break because I wanted to integrate and to prepare for this season. The work that comes with building the season it's very beautiful on the background, because I'm meeting a lot of amazing healers, practitioners. I'm particularly connecting with healers, practitioners from all around Africa who are here to bring in their own gnosis, their wisdom around spirituality, around metaphysics, around healing, which is one of my favorite things, and around ascension. So I've been busy just in conversation and in preparation for this conversation that are coming. Already, we're going to be having a guest starting next week, so that's going to be exciting. So I'm excited for you, but I did miss you all. Hello, Arina Vo, Novula, Diamond. Thank you for joining me today. Yes, so Warriors of Light. It's a platform, it's a living platform that I would like to build with you. So I invite you to journey with us throughout this next coming weeks. And I will now, just before we jump into this reintroduction to talking more about what the Library of Consciousness is about and why that's important for you, to you as a genetic path cutter? Like, why should you be interested in participating in this project? You know, I would like to just begin with certain sacred space. As you know, I like ensuring that the spaces that we are building together are in alignment with organic ascension, organic law, and yeah. So let's do that. Let's do that collectively. Getting comfortable wherever you are. Whew. And breathing. It's so interesting because it feels like I haven't been here in a while. Although it was just really like a month, but yeah, I'm feeling a little like, oh, it's been a while. Nonetheless, let's set a sacred space. We're setting sacred space for this show, and we're setting sacred space for today. And this will also be a bit of a quick cleanse, a clearing for you. We are doing this in October 7th, is the 7th today? Yes, in 2021. And there is a lot of astrological experiences happening, phenomena. We're having Mercury retrograde in 9 planets, and all of these things are affecting us. I know that a lot of people energetically, they've just not been having the best time. So I would like you to bring all of that to the space. We will clear these energies together. All right, so wherever you are, taking a deep breath and returning to your full body. Allowing yourself to feel the bones of your ancestors that are your bones. Feeling the blood of your ancestors that are your blood. Feeling the roots of your ancestors that are your roots. And feeling the breath of your ancestors that is your breath. Breathe in and out. As we invite ourselves, all of ourselves, fully to return to our physical body, returning the organic self to the physical body, to your bones, to your blood, to your roots, to your breath. And releasing out any inorganic energies, any dense frequencies that you have been holding throughout the week. Let's all release collectively the energies of the year, the energies of this month, the energies of this week, with a deep breath in and out. As we invoke from the 4 directions, from the east, the west, the south, and the north, the divine dispensation of the living source, all that is the pure essence. The Mother, Father God, the source within ourselves, and the source that is the source of our genesis, the source of creation, all of creation. As we align ourselves with this frequency of the Holy Mother, of the Holy Father, as we breathe in and out the breath of the Holy Mother, as we invite to the space, the sacred space, warriors of light, the frequency, heliotellic frequencies of higher dimensions, higher frequencies, the higher heavenly worlds. As we consecrate this space with sacred laws, we consecrate this with the divine authority, divine devotion, and divine love, unconditional love, for it to be the anchor, to be the guide for this living library that we are creating or creating together as fellow genetic pathcutters who are here on this journey of healing, on this journey of healing our bloodlines, on this journey of ascension, ascending the collective consciousness of the human race. We come here as the mission holders. We come here with all of the responsibilities that comes with being a genetic pathcutters. We come here with all the burdens of being genetic pathcutters, but we also come here with the gifts and the keys and the wonders of being genetic pathcutters. We come together to a sacred fire circle. And this fire is in the center of this virtual library. And each one of us, we join in, for we seek to contribute to the archiving of knowledge, of wisdom, the wisdom of our elders that is alive within us, that is alive through all the guests that will come here, that is alive through everyone who is here in this moment, listening to this podcast, listening to this conversation with me, the wisdom that I will be also sharing, transmitting through my own connection with the elders as we invite deeper grounding of this desire to know ourselves more, to know this journey of this spiritual awakening path more, to bring clarity, to bring integration, to bring alignment with the path that our souls have already chosen before we came here, with the path that our elders who are in the higher heavenly worlds look on us, request us, invite us to take and support us as we embark deeper and deeper to this path of liberation, of freedom. And so we consecrate this show with that intention of love. And we align with the living light. We align with organic source, organic law, organicascension. And we request all energies that do not align with this intention to leave now, as we do not consent to any lower frequencies, as we do not consent to any diversion, as we invite every thought, every question, every wondering, every contemplation in this space, as long as this contemplation is in alignment with the evolution of the self and the evolution of all. And we invite the mother's hand to hold every one of us right now as we walk this great journey through this great change of the earth. And we request the mother to embrace every soul that is here, to help us with the energies, the pains, the overwhelm, the confusion, and to release all this from our fields, to bring transmissions that will support us in releasing these energies of confusion, of overwhelm. And in this moment, we invite our higher selves, the council of our highest self, our avatar, Christ itself, to anchor in, inviting from the different levels of self, from the soul level, the oversoul, the monadic level, the avatar level, and the Rishi levels, in alignment with the unified field and the sacred law. And we take a deep breath in and out. And we understand that we walk with a legion of ancestral helping spirits, luminous ones, ancient ones. And we request the divine protection, the divine wisdom, the divine love. And most, we request divine justice and divine freedom for us and all of our living generation, all of our relations. And we invite the diamond light of the Holy Father to anchor in through our energetic centers right now, to vibrate with the Holy Spirit, the Holy Trinity, to awaken, to be alive, to be present in this conversation and in this entire building of this library. And we seal the space with the seal of the living source, God, creator, all that is the pure essence, and the seal of Christos, and the seal of Nala, of Mamwinti, of Sophia. And so it is. Makosi. Welcome back. How are you feeling? I feel so much better now with this consecration, with this sacred intention that is so important to me. The Warriors of Light show started last year. It started last year in 2020. And it came through because as a genetic pathcutter in my journey, I had to do a lot of the work by myself, a lot of the research, a lot of the contemplation, a lot of figuring out all the pieces that comes with the spiritual awakening, with ascension. And although it was fun for my soul because I do love learning by myself, I always wish that I had community to share all that I was learning, all that I was integrating. And in my journey as an oracle and also as an ascension guide for genetic pathcutters, I found that a lot of genetic pathcutters were quite confused. I don't know if you're here in a genetic pathcutter, let me know first that you're here as a genetic pathcutter. And also let me know what your journey of organic ascension has been like. If it has been very clear for you, or you found yourself a little confused, overwhelmed, didn't know where to begin, you know. And also in particular, because a lot of the people here, we are of the Black race, the African continent. We come from the motherland. And as people who grew up in a colonized society with Western training, programming, there's a lot of deprogramming that a lot of us have to do, a lot of going back to the original, to the natural, to our childhood, to understand some of the things that we used to see, but we didn't understand what they were. And also the decolonization itself it's in so many layers. But for me, the first layer was to just basically even just get what we're talking about when we're talking about ancestors. What is that, right? And why am I called, you know, why me? I've had those questions as well myself, and I know a lot of people have also had those. So I'm building this library because I would like us to have a source of like a portal where you can come and have the space where you can figure out all these questions that you have, right? So I would like to invite you to just share here for you some of the questions that you've had, even if you've moved through them, but you know they've been part of your journey, and let's contemplate together, right? My journey started 12 years ago in 2012. No, not 2012, 2009. Yes, 2009. And it was a kismet type of awakening in that, you know, a book literally fell while I was at the library, and I picked it and it just struck a chord within me and I wanted to go read it. But of course, before that, there was always other things that I was moving through that now when I look back, I realize, that is the keys of a genetic pathcutter. You can always kind of see us in the home. You know, it's always that weird child, that one who's reading books, or that one who's asking all the questions, or that one who's crying a lot, or that one who has an interesting birth story, how they entered the world. You know, for me, I was told my mother was almost 11 months pregnant when she had me. So yeah, and I've been kind of collecting those kind of stories of just how interesting our entry into the world is as genetic pathcutters, and how we are later defined by just this entry. And it's when you begin to understand that you can see the map, the blueprint of who you are by literally just looking at the life experiences that you've had. You know, the fact that you've always just been a devotional being, you've always loved spirituality, even if it was in the church or whichever way that you engage with spirituality, you know, it's very clear when you look back, right? And so in 2009, with all those other things, of course, being part of that, losing consciousness along the way. By the time I was 17, it got a bit serious, this losing consciousness once in a while, and really not actually remembering what happened. And then encountering a book that introduced me to the multidimensional reality. And I was only 18 years old, and I remember I couldn't sleep for 2 days because I had to read that book. And this book was a book by an American psychic, you know, so it was a Western perspective. It wasn't really Western, more universal actually, but I mean, the voice that was sharing all of this or experiencing and documenting all of that was a Western voice, right? And that was my introduction to ascension. You know, at the time, I didn't really integrate what I am really learning. But it changed my life. And after it changed my life, I found myself starting to see, you know, my third eye opened, and I started to see more visions. I started to have hypnagogic states. Hypnagogic states, for those who who are not aware, is that moment before you go to sleep. And as you close, you start having these visions of different people, images, voices, just so rapid, you know. Like in 1 minute, you could see literally hundreds of timelines, you know. And so that was one of the first gifts that came for me, like literally seeing visions of different people I didn't know. And then it was in India where now my vision really expanded, and I started to recall what we often call past life memory, when it's really simultaneous memory, right? So I do want to say, disclaimer, I'm gonna really be expanding in this show, you know, and I'm gonna be sharing concepts that are a little out there. I hope and I trust that you understand me, and even if you don't, I'll try to break it down. So if you have any questions, any thoughts, or you would like me to break down something, please let me know, okay? So yes, so I had this awakening in India, particularly because my soul is connected to the lands there, and I found myself remembering and having long visions. Now it wasn't just hypnotherapy, but long visions, and remembering memories and starting to really feel energies more, and it was very profound, you know. And it was also in India in 2015-16 that I realized that I really want to understand this path, this awakening, and I also want to understand why I'm able to do these things. And at the time, I didn't even have anyone to share what was happening with me. It's just that I knew that in the evening, like 6 p.m., when I was in the bus going back home after work, I would have these visions, and they were so frequent that it was a little overwhelming. And at the time, I was reading blogs, and I started to read blogs by African shamans as well, and finding out what they were saying about what was really happening to me, right? And so it was in 2016 when I just made the decision that I want to pursue this path. And it was a very active thing where I woke up every day and I connected with my higher consciousness, with my higher self, with the luminous ancestors, right? And I have always been into meditation, and now when I look back into simultaneous life that my soul is having now, meditation is a huge part of my soul templating, my soul blueprint. So it was very easy for me to actually access ancestral wisdom from just basic meditation. And it's now part of my work. This is why I really highlight the journeying within, because we are portals, right? We are doorways. The cosmos is inside us. The higher heavenly worlds that are accessed through us. And it's one of the things that I would like us to understand as genetic pathcutters, because we are often trained to look outside, to seek rituals that are often external. And while they are helpful, I do believe organic ascension, true ascension, is done inside. It's an inside job, right? So I started doing that inside job, and I really expanded. And what I mean by expansion, because this is something that is a huge part of this library. Expansion is essentially expanding your awareness of reality, and expanding our consciousness is how we actually heal. It's how we change our genetic lineages, what has happened in there, the miasma, the pains that have happened. It's how we experience miraculous healings. It's how we connect with higher wisdom. It is done through you, and it is done through you expanding your awareness of reality. Because although we live in a third dimensional, like a physical, where you can see this is just a it's a hologram, it's a projection. It's not real in the higher realms, of course it's real. It's very real for us here, but it's not our organic nature, because our organic nature is eternal life, right? We exist beyond time and space. We've always done that. We're just only here inside time and space, inside the matrix. Yesterday, the grandfathers said that time is the matrix, right? Meaning that the only way that you experience what you call your life is just simply time. If you remove time, what do you have? You have eternal life, right? So I think I lost track of my thoughts. Let me return back to my thought. So the thought being, yes, going inside, and how going inside is the organic way, and how the reason why this is a library of consciousness that we're building is because if we don't understand that what we call the ancestral calling, the ancestral path, is really at its core, the path of consciousness, right? Why the path of consciousness? Because one, the core essence of the cosmos, of the universe, of our planet is consciousness. And we are consciousness ourselves. Like this part of you looking at me, that's consciousness, observing another consciousness, right? We're just all different aspects, fragments, sparks of consciousness, interacting with each other, observing each other, dreaming of each other, in different dimensions and directions and levels and so on, right? So if we understand that we're consciousness, the reason why I say we're eternal life is because consciousness has always been and it will always be. It's not something that can be destroyed by death or destroyed by anything. It's ever evolving. It may shape shift like water. It may shape shift between realities. Right now, your consciousness is here in planet Earth in third dimensional reality. But what's important to understand as a genetic pathcutter is that although you have a life, normal physical life, ultimately, even that life is the exploration of consciousness, you as consciousness and everyone in your life as consciousness, right? And also really not just the exploration, but the expansion and expression and evolution of this consciousness. We are here in a moment, every moment, trying to evolve to become a different consciousness that we are not in the moment before, right? And so sometimes we understand being genetic pathcutters as I am called by the ancestors to come and heal, when really, actually, that's just one part of why you're a genetic pathcutter. The healing is so that you can expand more, you can evolve more. And why must we evolve? It's not just for ourselves, it's for the collective. We must evolve because the collective human race must evolve to become the next level of itself. And this is a natural and organic process that happens to a planet, that has happened to other planets all around the universe and the multiverse and so on. And that also is happening to you, through you, right? My interest in building this library of consciousness is that in this evolution, we will interact with polarities, like something that looks positive, something that looks negative, right? And the positive in its core is there to facilitate further and further expansion of your consciousness, while the negative is actually lowering and limiting and putting your awareness of who you are, what you are here for, what is the purpose of life at a cap. And human beings have been at a cap for 550 million years. We've had this wall, and now that wall has opened, and many of us suddenly are finding ourselves awakening because we have to now start moving up, because the wall has opened. You know, the living source, the elders, higher authority, they've opened, and we are now able to move to the next level of experiencing being human, right? And while that journey the door has opened, we have carried so much limitation from all the last 550 million years, from the ancestors who have come before us, and from the systems we have built, that actually moving forward up, it's not easy for most of us, because we're carrying so much, and we need to let go of these falsehood, these limiting ideas, thought forms, belief systems, and so on and so on and so forth, right? So that's what this ascension is about. That is what your ancestors have woken you up for, not to just heal. I mean, healing is a big part of it, but you are healing so you can evolve. So you can evolve your family, so you can evolve the collective community, you can evolve the collective human race. And I tend to speak this way because my mission is planetary. I often see things from like what is the benefit for Africa? Why is Africa experiencing what it's experiencing? Why are Africans awakening now? And how are we to support them now? Right? So I don't know about you, but figuring out now what is the positive polarity, what is empowering me, what is going to help me move further up the stream, and what is not going to do that, is something that sometimes in the beginning, because of all the baggage of the last 550 million years, it's difficult to discern, to know the difference, you know, to know what is an empowering practice, an empowering belief system, an empowering ideology, not just at the universal spirituality, metaphysics, but to the level of the place you come from, whether that's African spirituality or Botswana or whatever your tribe is, right? And having to discern between what is inorganic and what is not inorganic, right? It takes time. It takes time to do that, to understand what that is. So in my journey, because a lot of the work that I do is actually retrieving people from inorganic timelines where, you know, we have went through initiations that are not in alignment with the true living source, with organic laws, sacred laws, and we are participating in processes that are not liberating the soul. And this is not just from, say, spirituality or what we call the New Age or indigenous cultures or traditions or the church, religion overall. Like in all of these, what I have found is that there are distortions, and we have to figure out what these distortions are and drop them, let them go so that we can go upstream. Does that make sense? Let me know. Are you with me? Right? We have to understand that as genetic pathcutter, that is the ultimate mission. The ultimate mission is to go upstream, because it's a bit like a pyramid, right? There are not that many of us who will ascend higher and higher, but even one person ascending can pull thousands, if not millions of souls to that stream of ascension. It's what the ascended masters, S02s have done in the past, right? Where if one person in a country wakes up, that teachings affect and influence everyone, and then they create new pathways for everyone to ascend. That's what we're here to do, right? And at the same time, of course, the hope journey isn't about jumping to become an ascended master when we haven't yet released all the baggages that we've carried, right? All the pains, all the traumas, all the violence, all the wars that our ancestors have went through, right? And ultimately, at the core of releasing these baggages, it's a lot of mental deconstruction, right? Like, who are you? Who do you think you are, right? Do you understand that you are a soul? What does that mean to be a soul, to be a spirit, right, in a human body? What does it mean to say that you are connected to ancestors? Why is the DNA a key factor in your evolution and into your healing, right? I speak a lot about morphogenetic fields because essentially they are at the core of how we heal and how we evolve, right? These morphogenetic fields are essentially fields that exist in your body, not the physical body, the energetic body, and it's connecting you to the other bodies of your ancestors, everyone who has ever lived, right? And through these fields, we can understand what we are carrying and what we need to let go of. And the more we let go of this, the more also we're helping other people's morphogenetic fields to let go of that. But this is not even really about just doing this for other people, right? There is a greater invitation to do this for yourself, right? What's been moving through me this couple of weeks with everything that's happening is the importance of an active intention to be free, to be liberated in your daily life, every day, making choices that help your soul, your being, to be closer and closer to truth. And that very intention is something that requires us to make decisions that will not fit the mainstream, that won't make sense to other people. And they may actually create ruffles, particularly in the family, right? So a lot of the time, as genetic pathcutters, as light keepers, wisdom keepers, we think it's about making everyone happy, but it's not. In my journey, I found that I've had to say no. I've had to put on boundaries, right? I've had to actively address a miasma in my bloodline through my actions, not just being in meditation or in the river cleansing, in the mountain cleansing that, or praying on it, right? And that's the actual job that we have to do, beloveds, right? So this is the invitation that we all have as genetic pathcutters. So we have a couple of guests that are coming through, and we're going to be looking, just for this month in October, we're going to be looking into topics like true ascension, like what organic ascension is versus false light ascension, right? A little bit on that, just how we need to let go of what I just spoke about, which is the spiritual bypassing, not actually actively dealing with things and just trying to pray them away or to pattern on them, or just intricately, like very deeply, manipulations that do exist in the spiritual community, in the metaphysical community, philosophical community, religious communities, and how one of our biggest roles. And in particular, I find that for the Africans, a lot of you who follow me, I don't actually know why you feel a gravitation towards me. I would like to know in the comment, right? What is it that you resonate with? Let me know. But I know that people who resonate with me are here to actually collapse mistruth, to collapse what is false, because that's what I do. I'm here to bring the truth, to light the truth. And I find that those who are magnetized by that hold the same mission codes, the same templates. It may not be exactly, but they the same desire, right? The desire for truth and the desire for genuine kindness, for integrity, for appreciation, for oneness, for kindness, right? That's what we are actually seeking. And the truth is that this path of the truth is not easy, because it requires you to constantly look within yourself to see in what levels am I lying to myself. Also, in what levels am I consenting to be lied to be manipulated, to be shifted, and understanding that it's part of your journey to free yourself from such situations, whether that's at a personal level, like your family level, or at the bigger levels of not just the government, but the different higher forces that exist, right? The higher forces that exist, whether that's like your healer, your priest, but also really beings you believe in, right? Whether that's Jesus Christ or the Buddha, or your ancestors, or God, So those things are really, really important for us to look at. And these are the things that I'm going to be breaking down. Thank you, Matogonolo. Yes, I have been given this gift of breaking down this difficult concept. I think because it's when we do not understand what we really even mean by anything, then we can be swayed into something that is not actually true or helpful towards our healing and our evolution and so on, right? So this living library, to put it frankly, I've been seeing a lot of things I'm not happy about in the African spirituality community, in this universal planetary community. A lot of that bypassing that I was speaking about, a lot of externalizing power, right? Wanting, Jesus to come and save you, wanting your ancestors to come and save you, wanting another authority to save you, right? That's not going to pass, because this is what we have been stuck in. We have been in codependency. And these codependencies, they come because of the love of power, and how this love of power makes people, make choices that disempower other people and empower them. And they thrive on that illusion of power. And the group that is often disempowered is often the 90% of the human race. That really bothers me, right? So what has bothered me in the recent years that I have been a practitioner and an oracle has been seeing the manipulation with now the gifted, the genetic pathcutters now. I'm just like, what is happening, right? But I've come to understand that a lot of it is because of just confusion. Like, actually, some people don't know what they're doing, right? They don't know the distortions that they are running and the inorganic templating that they're running. But the invitation is this: consciousness is pure, right? At its core. And consciousness evolves within purity, within innocence. If that is taken from it, it will become stagnant, it will be limited, right? 5 years ago, I started a project of being in conversations with African writers. And it has always I've always loved being in conversation because I think there's something beautiful about them. And the reason why I wanted to be in conversations with the different African people is because I was really bothered by the of our continent, right? But mostly not just the conditions, but how we keep moving back and forth from one generation to the other to the same questions, and at the core of it, and I realized it's because of the mental construct. It was actually when I was doing my project in African dialogue, and I was in conversations with hundreds of amazing epic philosophers, thought speakers, and writers, and storytellers, and wisdom keepers, that I realized that at the core of our issue is like how we perceive reality, how we perceive ourselves. And that is what has kept us enslaved. And the current slavery is not the slavery of the physical body. While that's true, and there are people who are going through that, slavery now has mutated to the slavery of the mind, right? This war, the spiritual war people speak about, is the spiritual war of consciousness. It's how consciousness is being mutated, being shifted to act a certain way, when the truth is that the true consciousness it's very vast, it's very ancient. Every one of you who's here, you are an ancient consciousness. You've been here since the beginning, and we are back here as ancient ones to move and change and liberate consciousness for the future, right? And even when I say we're back here, we're not coming back from the past. We're actually coming back from the future. We have seen the future. We are from the future, and we have returned back. And we are from the future as those who have lived for a really, really long time. And the future that now was created by humanity is not at all good. And so we all have come back here to rectify these events before humanity collapses itself, right? And the thing is, sometimes it feels like, oh, is it really our responsibility to? Yeah, it is. It is, because that future we come from is a culmination of choices that have been made by different people, which you are a person, right? You're part of that. It's all collective, but the more each one of us wakes up, and that's why we're waking up right now, right? Source God, is waking all the genetic pathcutters as the defender warriors. I say that as the defense. The defense. What are we defending? We are only really defending the freedom of consciousness. That consciousness should express itself in its organic way. And we have not been doing that for a really long time. When I look at all the issues that we're having, whether it's the current issues of biology, of whether someone should put the vaccine on or not, that's a biological conversation. It's about consent, your biological consent, biological freedom, right? And yet at the same time, it's also connected to consciousness, right? The way we think about the body, it's based on what we were taught about the body, right? And then some of us, we have to go do the true learning of what we are when we understand we are not a body. Yes, we are biological beings, but we're not this body, and this body is not actually physical. It's connected to a greater mind, which we call the God mind or the collective mind, right? So any form of alteration done to this biological vessel, I have to consider that very seriously, and I have the right to consider that without any form of coercion. Right? So freedom can be in that sense, and it can be in the sense of just one of the things I am very passionate about, and I'm going to be bringing it here, is just really expressing yourself and pursuing your highest excitement and being that, without feeling that you have to only choose a certain path that is logical. And what is logical, except what is logical is what has been put as logical, but it's not necessarily the most logical. Actually, the most logical thing is that we should all be allowed to express ourselves, to pursue, whether that's art or research or whatever it is, in whatever level we want to. But now we have certain limitations around that. And so right now my passion is around helping genetic pathcutters get more in alignment with that true higher excitement, purpose, mission, and really figuring out how to create this in this world, right? That's what freedom is. It's so much bigger. Right, so let me see. Yes, there has been a lot of false teachings and doctrines in religion, yes, definitely, and in spirituality as well, 100%. Right, so this platform is for that. It's for us to look at these false teachings, to be humble with the art. I call it the royal art, because it takes a royal to be able to look at themselves and to look at that world with the true eyes of wisdom, and to see this is not of God, this is of God, this is not of empowerment, this is of empowerment, this is for the community, this is not for the community, and then taking the actions, right? So I'm hoping that we can all come together and break down these ideas, look at these ideas. We're going to look at this organic ascensions, we're going to look at divine laws, sacred laws, we're going to look at higher mission codes and all of that. And with every conversation, we're definitely going to be doing transmissions, bringing in wisdom that is coming from higher levels, that is streaming through the guests, because a lot of the guests are practitioners. So it's going to be really exciting. Like already the conversation I've had, I'm really excited to bring these guests. I'm also going to be doing these transmissions, doing updates, sharing with you all what's happening energetically, what is coming through, what I am receiving as an oracle, as the next steps for all of us. And so because it's from 2021, I don't actually really know if next week is a guest and the next one is a solo transmission. But every Monday, we will know for sure whether we're doing a transmission or a guest is coming through. And so to keep yourself on the loop, please go sign up for our newsletter so that you can receive the guests that are coming through, or the topics for our library or for the week at the time when this will be happening. Yes, you can come and join me here on Zoom, or join in the other platforms and watch the replays and share with people who you believe may find value in all of this, right? I'm really excited. Thank you so much for joining me. Let me know if you have any thoughts. You can actually, like the way that we're gonna do this, you can raise your hand and I can bring you up. Next week, even when we're having the guests, we will have Q&A where you can actually, call in and have a conversation, share whatever your thoughts are all together with this platform, right? Yes. So thank you all for joining me. We are going to be doing this. The replay in the podcast will be this Monday. Please go subscribe and share. We build this library together in that sense, and also please feel free to send your recommendations, whether that's a recommendation of a guest or that's a recommendation of a topic for us to explore here. I would like to have you, participate and be part of this. We are also going to definitely have community calls or sessions or podcasts where it will just be the whole community here in the live stream, and we're just in a round table discussing ideas and so on. So I'm just inviting you to open your heart and to journey with me, with everyone who's going to be part of this. I believe that in this, you will expand your consciousness, which is the ultimate mission of this platform. Yeah. Thank you so much, Matohanolo. Yes, this platform is really important and it's going to be, it's going to be cool. Yeah, I'm very excited, Joy. I remember as well at the beginning of my journey looking for research and writings. Yeah, it was so difficult. Yeah. So this is brilliant. It is. We have an amazing mission. Thank you so much. Yes, it's something I'm really passionate about. I'm going with the flow with it. So this is why I'm really inviting your support, because it's not easy to try to find the truth in what feels like it's a stack of mistruth. And like, what is the truth? Who can come and support us with this, So please send me recommendations at assistant@joymogami.com. That is our email for this show, right? And we will keep all of that, all your recommendations, and we will try to either bring the guests you're recommending or the questions that you are asking. Okay. So thank you so much. Have a great day. Good night. Good day wherever you are.